Welcome, everyone. You are listening to episode 2 of the Everything and Nothing podcast. I'm your host, Alex Lorenzo, and I just want to start by thanking all the subscribers so far and all the listeners out there. It's been only a week. I already have 95 subscribers, and the first podcast got 285 views, so that's awesome. I didn't expect this much success so quickly, and hopefully we can grow much bigger in the future. Hopefully hit 100 subscribers after this episode. That'd be awesome. And then work our way up. Alright, guys. So I've been living in Los Angeles for over 2 weeks now, I believe. And I just started work on Tuesday. And that means I'm an official adult, which sucks. Now I'm working weekdays 9 to 5. And yeah, it's as tiring as it seems. Makes me really miss school. Makes me really miss seeing all my friends every day. But, you gotta get paid somehow. Literally, I've just been working 9 to 5 and coming home and playing Madden, basically. I just got it. And I want to quickly talk about Madden, in case you guys have it or don't have it. I've only really been playing the franchise mode. I did a fantasy draft, which is how I like to play all my sports games. I like to draft my own team. I don't know why. I think it's really fun. It usually takes me 4 or 5 tries to get the team I like. I'm really anal about that shit. I'll play a game, play a quarter, be like, I don't like this team already. And then it'll take me a while. But I do like the new features. It's much better than last year's, which is saying a lot because Madden usually doesn't change. Usually you buy and you're like, this is the same shit, just different rosters. But they have a lot of new features in the franchise mode, the GM mode, which you can pick to be a coach, player, GM, which you could do that last year, but you could do a lot more options as a GM this year. Contract negotiations, just different. The whole outlook is different. Also, the gameplay, which usually stays the same, is a little different. The kicking has changed, which I'm not sure if I'm a fan or not yet, but it's not terrible. But it's not great. And also, you can press buttons now to break tackles and to tackle better, and it just pops up randomly which button it'll be. So that's kind of cool. Gives you a chance to break free, which a lot of times in the old games, running would be a fucking hassle if you didn't have a good running back. Alright, so speaking of football, I'm going to stick with it. So Thursday night, Denver beat Carolina, which makes me 0-1 in my predictions. Not a good start, and I'm just shocked. I watched most of the game, missed some of the third quarter. I just can't believe Trevor Siemian, how he played and how Cam Newton played. Trevor Siemian, who I just actually, while looking this up, realized he was from Danbury, Connecticut. So shout out to Trevor Siemian. I'm gonna start liking him now, Connecticut boy. But he was 18 for 26, threw 178 yards, and 1 touchdown. Cam Newton was 18 for 33, so same amount of completions, more attempts, and had 194 yards, so a little more yards, and a touchdown. I just can't believe those stats were so close for such different quarterbacks. Cam Newton was just Super Bowl runner-up. He had a great year, and he's letting this guy who is coming in, first start ever, and he basically matched him equally. I'm just shocked. And, excuse me as I clear my throat, I just want to give a little fuck you to CJ Anderson, who I was playing in fantasy. I know Billy, if he's listening, is laughing right now, who I'm playing. He went 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. 1 receiving, 1 on the ground. It just sucks when you're expecting somebody to, you're like, oh, okay, CJ Anderson's playing today, I'm playing him in fantasy, whatever, he'll get 6 points, whatever. I believe he got 20-something points. Just ridiculous. And to make matters worse, find out that Gronk is out week 1, who I have. He was my number 1 pick. Not overall, but first rounder. So I had to go to the free agents, picked up Dwayne Allen, and Luck is my quarterback, so hopefully they have good chemistry in week 1, and hope Gronk isn't out for more than 1 week. And since I'm doing this podcast on Saturdays, and the games haven't happened yet, just the Thursday games. I won't do the next one till next Saturday, so I have to pick Thursday's game today, which is weird because the other games haven't happened, but whatever. It's the Jets at Bills. I'm just going to go with the Jets. I don't think the Bills are going to start off hot. I think the Jets will, and then the Jets will start sucking later in the year, and I think the Bills will get a little better later in the year, but Jets over Bills for now in Buffalo. All right. Now, everyone's been freaking out since the announcement happened yesterday or 2 days ago about the iPhone 7. Now, I still have the iPhone 5, so regardless, I'll probably be getting the iPhone 7 eventually, just because how many iPhones can I be behind? Like, that's the world we live in. The features that it comes with, it has 2 cameras on the back now, along with one on the front. I'm not really sure what they're for, but I'm guessing it's going to make better videos and better pictures, which I'm all for because I tend to make a lot of videos on my phone, so I'm happy about that. Everyone's freaking out about the no headphone jack, which I was as well, but after a while, I don't really care. As long as it comes with the adapter and I don't have to pay like $50 for it, I'm fine with it. And I'm pretty sure in the near future, within 2 years, everyone will have wireless headphones anyway. That's just how how technology is evolving. And also, it's waterproof. And without the headphone jack, it makes it waterproof. So I love that idea. You can go swimming with your phone, you can take underwater videos and pictures, can go in the shower with it and text your friends while you're in the shower. If that's what you please. You don't have to worry about accidentally going in the ocean with your phone, which I did once in middle school. Not a good time. So yeah. So now you also don't have to buy a waterproof case, which costs hundreds of dollars. Again, I'm for this iPhone. We'll probably get it eventually. It also comes with Mario games. Nintendo's doing something with Mario, and you can play the old Mario games. That's cool. I'll probably have that app, but once the mini NES comes out, I'm going to buy that, so that's where I'll play most of my Mario games. Going to move on and talk about the MLB a little, specifically right now the Yankees. And really with the Yankees right now, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, right now we have 6 straight wins going into today's game. They're only 4 games out of first place, while in 4th place. Every other division besides the Dodgers and Giants have a bigger gap between the first 2 teams. So the AL East has 4 teams within 4 games. So it's really anybody's division. We're only 1 game out of the wild card, which is incredible. There's no teams in front of us besides the wild card leaders. And besides the Dodgers, the Yankees play only division games, which you could look at as a negative because if those teams beat you, they're gaining even bigger ground. But I look at it as a positive because we have been winning all these games. And the best way to jump a team is to beat them specifically. So I look at it as positive, and I'm going to put it in the good column. Talking players, the good, Masahiro Tanaka, 12-4 with a 3.11 ERA. In his last 7 starts, he's 5-1 with a 2.98 ERA. Looking back, those last 7 starts, he lost 1 against the Mets, but he won against the Indians, going 6 innings, 1 run. Against the Rays, 7 innings, 4 runs. The Angels, 7.2, no runs. Mariners, 7 innings, no runs. Back-to-back games with 7+, no runs. Versus the Jays, 6.1 innings with 2 runs. And a no decision against the Royals where he went 5 innings and 2 runs, which the Yankees won in the 10th. So Tanaka has really been outstanding for the Yankees. He's the true ace that this team needs. And going into a wild card game, he's the guy you want on the mound. At the plate, the real good I could find is Gary Sanchez, obviously. He's batting .341. He's got 12 home runs in 32 games. So he's just been outstanding. 12 home runs for this amount of games, this amount of at-bats is phenomenal. So Sanchez has already become a leader, and he's only a rookie. Also, he's pretty good defensively. He's already caught 9 9 people stealing. So they raved about him at the plate, behind the plate, and he's panning out pretty well this year. So hopefully, looking into the future, he's as every bit as good as he is this year. All right, moving on to the bad. I talked about Tanaka as the good. Well, the bad is the rest of the rotation. First, we got Luis Cessa, who is 4-0, which is good. He hasn't blown any games, but he has a 4.07 ERA, which will get destroyed in the playoffs. Next, well, he also has no playoff experience, and this next guy has basically no experience, which is Brian Mitchell. He just got called back up. He's now being used as a starter, and he did good against Toronto. 1 win, 5 innings, 4 hits, which is good. He won the game. He did 5 innings, but you can't be going only 5 in the playoffs. You gotta go a little more. Gotta give less work for your bullpen. And he has no experience, so in a playoff game, I can't give the ball to Cessa or Mitchell. It sounds stupid. Next is CC, who has the most playoff experience, and you would think, oh, that could be the guy you give it to. That's tough too. He's 8-12 this year with a 4.27 ERA, and since August 1st, he's only won 2 games in 8 starts. He's a 6.57 ERA in those 8 games. So lately, CC has been trash. And lastly, we have Pineda, who's 6-11 with a 5.07 ERA. Since August 1st, he's only got 2 decisions. He's 1-1 and has a 4.86 ERA in that time. So, say the Yankees make the playoffs. Tanaka goes on the wild card game. He wins. What's next? I wouldn't even know where to start. I can't even. This may be the worst rotation in playoff history if the Yankees make the playoffs and win the wild card game. It's just baffling how the Yankees are still in it and have a good chance to make the playoffs. All right, moving on to the ugly. Rookies Aaron Judge and Tyler Austin. Judge, home run in his first at-bat. Tyler Austin came up right after him, hit another home run. Back-to-back home runs in their first at-bat. Everything since then has been downhill. Aaron Judge has played in 24 games. He has 75 at-bats, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, and is batting .176. 38 of his 75 at-bats are strikeouts. That is a problem. He crushes fastballs and can't hit curveballs. So once you realize a player can't hit an off-speed pitch, that's all you throw to them. Tyler Austin has played in 18 games, 55 at-bats, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, and batting .236. Thursday, Tyler Austin showed that he can be clutch. It was bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, 3-2 count, tie game, it's a walk-off. So that's a positive. Still in the ugly column, but hopefully if Austin can do that, he can be a little clutch in the playoffs as well. All right, moving on to the rest of the MLB. Let's look at the playoff picture, / I'll make my predictions. Right now, the AL East, I have Boston winning. Right now, they're 2 games up. I think they're just going to hold on. I think Poppy's going to play great because this is his last year. I think the team's going to play as well as they can for him, even with that pretty bad rotation. The Central, Cleveland, obviously, they're already 6 games up. In the West, Texas is 9.5 games up. I do think Cleveland will get the 1 seed. Texas will get the 2 seed. Now, the NL, Washington, they're already 8 games up. They're going to win the division. The Cubs are 16 games up. They're easily going to win the division. And the Dodgers, who are 4 games up, I think are going to hold off the Giants and win the division. For the wild card, I have Toronto getting the first one for the AL, New York actually getting the second one. And for the NL, I have St. Louis in the first one, and the Mets getting the second wild card. And the Mets are pretty much identical to the Yankees. Their team is garbage, but they're fighting, they're playing hard, they're playing well, and I see both teams getting the second wild card. And yes, this will be the end of the streak for the Giants. Their every other year World Series win. I originally had them winning the World Series this year. I think right before the season started, I think they had a great offseason. Cueto, Samardzija, and they had great players, but they're they're just playing bad. And the Dodgers aren't even playing great. They're just playing better than the Giants. All right, and for the playoffs, for the wild card game, I have St. Louis beating the Mets, and I have the Yankees beating the Jays, which makes it the ALDS would be Cleveland versus the Yankees. I think that Cleveland would win. Texas versus Boston, I have Boston actually winning. In the NLDS, I have the Cubs beating the Cardinals and the Nationals beating the Dodgers. ALCS, I have Cleveland beating Boston. And the unpopular pick of the Nats beating the Cubs. I want the Cubs to win. That would be awesome. Love that team. They have great players. But it's not always the best team wins. And I think we're going to see that this year. And then the Nats beating the Indians in the World Series. I can really see any of these teams making the World Series, though, in the AL. So I think it's anyone's game. It was a tough pick. I picked Cleveland, but I have the Nats winning overall. Just based off of not putting the best teams in, and I think the Nationals are a damn good team, and I think they could go on a really good run. The Nationals would have also beat the Cubs and the Indians, crushing both of those fairy tales. That would be a crazy story, too. So, Nationals over Indians. Not really feeling great about that prediction, but I couldn't come up with a better one. Alright, now we're going to talk about wrestling. I got a question from one of the subscribers in the last podcast. He said, can you name your 10 favorite WWE matches? And I didn't want to put in a lot of research for this and think too hard, so I just came up with the first 10 I could think of. So, whatever, this is my favorite matches. And he said WWE matches, which I'm also guessing he meant I could do NXT matches too, because that's WWE. But yeah, right off the bat, Sasha vs. Bayley at NXT Brooklyn. Phenomenal, was there live. One of the best matches I've ever seen. Next, I put TLC 2 at WrestleMania 17. I think that was the best one. The SummerSlam one, the first one, was also really good. But I really like the WrestleMania 17 one. Next is going to be a shocker. It's probably a match nobody even remembers. But at WrestleMania 17, Kane vs. Big Show vs. Raven for the hardcore title. Those guys did anything and everything they could. Raven going through the glass window is one of my favorite moments from that WrestleMania, and that was the best WrestleMania of all time, in my opinion. That was one of my favorites. That they just killed each other, that match. Very entertaining. Next, Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker at WrestleMania 25. That was just, the first time you watch that match, if you don't get goosebumps and freak out for every false finish, then you're not a wrestling fan. That's one of the greatest matches ever. Next, from SummerSlam this year, Styles vs. Cena. It's fresh in my mind, so I put it on the list. Very good. HBK and Angle at WrestleMania 21. Phenomenal. Just in-ring work overall. Angle had the ankle lock on HBK for like 20 minutes, it felt like, before HBK tapped. Next, Triple H versus Undertaker, and I know most of you are going to think 27, 28. No, I'm going with WrestleMania 17 again. For some reason, I watched this match back, and I just love every second of it. I don't know. That's my favorite Triple H Taker match. 27, though, was phenomenal. It was amazing. But 17, for some reason, I like that one the best. Next, I'm going to go Zayn Nakamura from TakeOver Dallas. Just amazing work. Seeing Nakamura's entrance for the first time, it's just indescribable. Next, I was having trouble thinking of the last two. And then I remembered Charlotte versus Becky versus Sasha versus Bayley at NXT Rival. That Fatal 4-Way was so fucking good. That was my favorite women's match of all time until Sasha Bayley at Brooklyn. But those two matches are the best women's matches I've seen ever. And then the next one, it was just fresh in my mind, so I put the Revival versus Ciampa and Gargano. Being there live, expecting Gargano and Ciampa to win, that match just had me screaming, jumping up and down like a little girl, so I put it on the list. All right, so Backlash is tomorrow, so I'm going to give you my full predictions of what will happen. First off, we have the tag title tournament, the semifinals, the Usos versus the Hype Bros. I'm going to go with the Usos, obviously. The whole storyline, I think, is really good. But for the finals, I'm going to have Slater and Rhino beating the Usos. I love the Uso heel turn. It was long overdue. I love where the angle went with Alpha getting hurt, the Usos injuring them. Now they can't compete, so they can't lose. But Slater and Rhino can still win, getting Slater a contract. I think it works perfectly. And I wouldn't be surprised if Jason Jordan came out during the match and cost the Usos, because obviously they injured Gable. So Jordan can do a run-in. Slater can get the win. Slater gets a contract. I'm sure the crowd will pop huge for that. And then I also wouldn't be surprised if on Tuesday on SmackDown Live, the Usos got a rematch. They say, oh, Jordan came out and screwed us, blah, blah, blah. Bryan and Shane give them a rematch. They win the titles, and then they go onto a storyline with Alpha when Gable's healthy. Then Alpha wins the title at the next pay-per-view. That works because Slater is already signed. He had signed the contract because he had won. They don't have to keep the title on that tag team, and the Usos can get it, and then Alpha can get it. So I think it works for everyone. The next match is the Women's Six-Pack Challenge. Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella, Carmella, Natty, and Naomi. I think it comes down to Natty, Carmella, and Nikki. The only way I could see Becky winning it is if they want to keep going with the storyline that Bryan and Shane picked her first out of all the women, and Natty is still jealous, blah, 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 keeps attacking her. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think Becky's going to win. I actually don't think Natty's going to win either, so it comes down to Carmella and Nikki for that storyline. I think Nikki's going to win. I'm going to give it to her. I think Carmella's going to attack her maybe after the victory or on Tuesday on SmackDown. And then the next pay-per-view will be Nikki versus Carmella. Nikki just came back. She's very over, and it makes sense to put her as the first champ. The next match is the Intercontinental title match with Miz versus Dolph Ziggler. I have the Miz retaining his Intercontinental title. I expect this to be a very good match and a bunch of false finishes where the crowd thinks Dolph's going to win. They get real excited, and then Miz kicks out. I think the Miz is going to win with a roll-up or a Maurice distraction, and I think this is going to be low-key match of the night. These two bring the best out of each other. I expect good work in the ring and a good story to be told between the two. Next, Orton versus Wyatt. This match has to be good for me to care. I think it has to be good for anyone to care. I really hope this is just a one-match feud, not something that goes longer. Orton's going to win. I think he has to win. It's just, why would Wyatt win? I think Orton's going to be in the title picture soon, so I think Orton is just going to step over Wyatt. I think to revitalize Bray, I think he should just go off TV for a few months, come back and dominate. Start over. Start how they should have started. Just have him win and win and win. Maybe get the Wyatts back or add somebody new to him. I think that's when he's at his best. Being alone, he's just not as good. I think that it just works better when he has the Wyatt family. Not saying bring back Braun over to SmackDown, and I think Rowan should do it because he's not doing anything else. And actually, I don't want Luke Harper to be back in him. I think Harper and Bray should feud when Harper comes back. That's a story for a different time, though. But they can find other people to be in the new Wyatts or something. Make it better than ever. Have them actually win. But Bray needs to tweak his character a little. Like, he can't just come out, sit in his chair, and say the same shit he says every week. Yeah, you know, man, like, I see you over there, and you're just spitting lies. Like, he says that stupid shit, and that was a terrible Bray impression. I'm sorry, but he does say man a lot when he's talking to people. But it's just, why should he be believable at this point? It just pisses me off. Nothing against the guy, just the way he's been booked in his character. And lastly, the WWE title match, Ambrose versus Styles. I have Styles winning the WWE Championship. And I'm not really sure what else they could do with Dean, so I don't think there's any chance he retains. And he hasn't even been that entertaining since winning the title, so I hope Styles wins as well. Styles is also the hottest thing in wrestling right now, or in WWE at least. And he just beat John Cena, and they're putting that over huge, reminding us every week. So if they're gonna keep pushing him, and they're gonna put the title on him. And thank God. I think originally their plan was to have Styles be a mid-carder, which is stupid. And then Vince realized how over this guy was and how good he is. So thank God for that. This is the expected match of the night, obviously, which is why I'm not getting my hopes up. I expected a lot out of Ambrose and Ziggler. Didn't get anything good. Ambrose really hasn't been putting on great matches as champion. So I'm not going to expect a lot. That's why I'm going to give match of the night to Miz versus Ziggler. But without expecting a lot, maybe this match will be very good and surprise me. I also think that Styles is going to win. He'll beat Ambrose again, probably next pay-per-view when he gets his rematch on SmackDown. And then Orton will be his next opponent, and that is going to be fucking great. Orton versus Styles, I cannot wait for that. Hopefully that's where they go. Overall, there's only 6 matches on the card, so they should get a lot of time. As far as my knowledge goes, there's no pre-show match. So overall, I think this is going to be a very good show. Alright, moving on from wrestling and talk about music. I listened to 2 albums this week. First one I was very excited for. It was the new Florida Georgia Line Dig Your Roots album. I know I'm a little late on that. I'm a huge Florida Georgia Line fan. I actually don't even like country that much. Coming into college, I actually hated country. But going to school in New Hampshire, you're going to hear a lot of it. Eventually found a bunch of songs I liked. And then last year, my senior year, I really got into Florida Georgia Line. Still love them. But man, this album was a little disappointing. The first 4 songs are good. The rest of it is whatever. They gave Brian, which is the guitar player, like 3 or 4 songs of his own, which is he's not bad. He's good, but it's like Florida Georgia Line isn't him. It's the other guy singing and him playing the guitar. So it just wasn't great. No songs wowed me. There was no full-on jams, as I would say. But it wasn't terrible. I hope they bounce back with their next album being great, because their first 2 albums were excellent. The next album I listened to is Rock is Dead by Dorothy. Really, if you like rock, I really, really suggest this album. It's funny that Rock is Dead is the name, but they're a real good rock band. The lead singer being a girl named Dorothy. She just is a phenomenal singer. She's so good, and the guitar, the sound the guitar makes is just incredible. Missile is the first song I listened to. It's off the Madden soundtrack, actually. So shout out to the Madden soundtrack. It's a very good soundtrack this year. But I texted my friend Ben, who I go to for any music advice or any music suggestions. I'm always trying to find songs he hasn't listened to. I'll be like, hey, Ben, check out this song. And 9 times out of 10, he'll text me back being like, yeah, I know that song. That song's awesome. So that's what happened here. Is like, Ben, check out the song Missile. He says, Dorothy's awesome. Listen to the whole album, which I did. Loved it. And I recommend it. So, Florida Georgia Line, not so much. Dorothy, definitely suggest. And if you're a fan of rock music or hip-hop music and you don't like country at all, like I used to not, I still recommend Florida Georgia Line. They're a mixture of country, rock, and a little bit of hip-hop, and it's awesome. They reference hip-hop and rock and country in all their songs too. So it's just a good mixture. So definitely check out Florida Georgia Line. Just their last album was very disappointing to me. Maybe I expected too much, but hearing from my other friends who like them, no one really thought it was great. Alright, so as I wrap things up, for episode 2, I want to talk a little bit about what I'm going to do in the future. I came up with the idea that I'm going to do episode reviews of recent TV shows, and I'm going to give my reaction/review. I'm going to do Stranger Things, the new hot Netflix series. And you might be saying, Alex, that show's old. already, like everyone's seen it, and I think that's actually better. If I watch a show that you've already seen, you just get to gauge my reaction, and I think that's entertaining because you know it's coming, and so there's no spoilers or anything, but you get to see what my thoughts and reaction are. I don't know. I think it's cool. So I'm gonna do Stranger Things. That's gonna come this week, probably sooner than later, because I've been putting it off already. So I'm gonna do that probably tomorrow. I don't know how many episodes I'm gonna do at a time. One at a time. Weekly could be too long. Maybe I'll do 2 or 3 a video, or if I do 1 episode of video, I'll upload them quickly. I won't wait a week. But I love binge watching shows. I hate watching shows on television. I hate the wait. It kills me. Shows that I recommend on Netflix that you should watch are Dexter. I think it's the best written show ever. BoJack Horseman, which is a cartoon that involves animals and humans, and it's not like a Adult Swim late at night, get high and watch BoJack Horseman. It's real drama, real issues, and at the same time hilarious. So definitely recommend that. Parks and Recreation is my favorite comedy of all time. It's like The Office. It's from the creators of The Office, the writers of The Office, and I think they outdid The Office. I think they outdid themselves. Parks and Rec I may have the best cast of all time for any comedy show. It's got Aziz Ansari, Amy Poehler, Nick Offerman, Chris Pratt, Aubrey Plaza, Rashida Jones, Adam Scott. Just great cast. And then the last show I recommend is Scream. Just finished season 2. It plays off the movie Scream, which I'm a huge fan of, but it's a completely different story, different people. But there are a lot of similarities between the two, and which is amazing. I want to check out Scream Queens, which is a different show but similar. But I don't think that's on Netflix, so I'm gonna have to find that online somewhere. Maybe I'll do my reactions to that. Who knows? Right now, Stranger Things is coming. You're gonna get a food review this week, or a drink review. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna do first. I have a couple in mind. This podcast and anything else I could think of. I'm open to suggestions. Please leave comments below. Love reading them. And just like the wrestling question I got earlier and answered, leave questions that you want me to answer down below and discussions you want me to talk about. Again, thank you for listening. This has been episode 2. Can't wait to do episode 3 next week. This is actually a lot of fun for me, so I hope it's fun for you to listen to. Again, appreciate it. Please subscribe if you haven't. Watch all the old videos if you haven't. And again, thank you for listening. More good shit to come soon.